Can you beat every boss in Dark Souls 3 in one hit? Hello, the name is not good and I've noticed that most one-hit runs have actually not that many one-hits. But I want to change that and find out about the true limit for the one-hit run on current patch.
Yes, indeed.
Sadly, there's no way to skip or one-hit Gundyr in this version, so let me explain the rules for one-hits in this run. Multi-hit attacks like the Great Bow Glitch will not count as one-shots. Same for attacks with multiple swings. The only exception I will make for this are parries and backstabs. Attacks with one swing, but multiple damage ticks like the Dragon Slayer Great Axe weapon art will count as one-hits. But for most bosses I will stick to attacks that are obviously one-hits. Now let's do the Gundyr one-hit. To do that I need to play through the entire game and start New Game Plus. This boosts the stats for all bosses, but in Gundyr's case it's not enough to prevent us from one-hitting him. In all future boss fights I will show my active buffs in the bottom right corner. Back in the regular New Game. To get the maximum damage I want 99 in each attack stat, and a little bit of magic to get enough spell slots for all my buffs. You need quite a lot of souls for these stats, but the real problem in this run is to get all the weapons, upgrades, spells and rings. Luckily there's a way to skip nearly every boss in this game, but for the most important glitch you need a friend. So like a true Souls veteran and invader, without friends, I've installed Honest Merchant from Nexus Mods. This allows me to buy every item available in the game, and I can even enchant my weapons here. I know it's a little bit boring, but trust me, the legit run is far worse. It's a huge waste of time, it messes up with the boss order, the DLC is pretty much a no fun zone, and I thought you would need a friend to drop some weapons. If you don't like my approach on this run, feel free to use the comment section however you want. But with this chilled approach, I was able to focus all my time on the bosses. It's an old game, but there are still some left without one-hits, and for the melee one-hit on current patch there's even more left to discover.
Farewell, Ashen One.
And now, with the full equipment, I just need to upgrade my stuff, and I can start the one-hit run for real. The easiest way to buff unbuffable weapons is the bow glitch. Cast your spell, switch up to your buff, swap the weapon, backstab and walk out of it while holding L2. I don't need this glitch for Ward, but for later boss fights it will become really important. There are many boss threads that rely on a fresh fight. You could manage your save file manually on PC and console, but for PC players there's a great mod called Quick Save Tool. It gives you 2 hotkeys to create and reload your save file. This boosted my efficiency on damage testing and multiple tries a lot. Before I head straight to the next main boss, I want to help our friend Sigurd to kill this demon. To make the Great Wood one-hit possible, we need to prevent him from bursting his balls too early, with the forkwall glitch. Activate the boss fight and teleport out. Spam X to re-enter at max distance. While entering, spam backstab and do at least one. We need a lot of damage for this boss, but there are many ways to do that one shot with different weapons and spells. The fork wall glitch simplifies the boss for every kind of run. The only downside is that the glitched boss has iframes at the beginning of the fight, so we need to wait for him to crawl out of his corner and let the undead gather around us. By the way, I highly recommend to kill off all the undead before starting the boss fight. They are really annoying and it's easy to do from a safe distance. Road of Sacrifices. I really hate these crabs. They killed my low-level characters way too often. And I feel sorry for the two exiles. I'm cheesing them every run. Sorry. My Crystal Sage strat is easy. I've decided to do the parry on all bosses where it is possible, and for the Sage, one ring is enough to get the job done. Wow, that looked easy, right? But as soon as your strat relies on luck, you will have to do the boss multiple times. For easy boss fights like this, it's not really a problem, but in later boss fights this will become really annoying. At this point I had no idea that deep protection gets cancelled from Power Within. The one hit on the Deacon's boss is easy, but to spawn him you have to kill 5 of his ghosts. There's no way to skip this mechanic, and I will count it as one hit anyways. I think it's FromSoft's fault that I released a glitchless gimmick boss fight. You have no idea how fucking exhausting it is for me to do this voiceover in English. And the magic worm I wrapped around my headset mic to min-max the performance won't hold still. So let me enjoy some cool mob one-hits before I get into the Abyss Watchers. And the Watchers fight is kinda hard. For the first time I've settled down on a full HP setup to use the damage parry I got constant. Volnir. Much like the Deacons, this is more something like a gimmick fight. But with this one, FromSoft fucked the one-hit run really hard. It's easy to one-shot his bracelets before he can do anything, and I was close to call this the one-shot and move on. but I think this is the one boss in the game where the Great Bow glitch is the coolest way, and for me it's as close as I can get to the one hit on current patch. Dhimitri has a really cool strat for this on old patch, but I was not able to find something similar on current patch. I tested a lot of different spells, but the damage was not enough or the area of effect too small, but I believe there must be a way to do it. Sully's a strong boss, and a build and skill check for most players in their first run. For me it's a skill check every time I try this fight, but in the one hit run things are different. Just run up the stairs and press parry. There's no RNG involved and it's easy to do at every single try. But with all which we enter the part of the one-hit run with mostly optimized builds, and the buff phase escalates pretty bad. We need the Dragon Body, Sunlight Straight Sword, Power Within, Bow Glitch buff, and the Dragon Roar. With that we get on 2.1k damage. Without the Dragon Roar, 2k. This number could be higher with something different than a blast weapon, but the regen of the blast weapon is nice to have with Power Within. The strongest pyromancy in this game is the Seething Chaos. Buff up with Power Within and Red Tearstone. Cast 3 Foreign Flash Swords, swap to the Kaita Chime for the Bow Glitch, and after that you can equip 2 more blades to boost the damage even further. Please don't ask me why the Foreign Flash Sword boosts this pyromancy. And for the Demon King, there's no strat on current patch. I've tested a lot of heavy attacks, but I needed a stronger heavy attack than the Ultra Great Sword Poke. And the strongest attack in this game is the Great Lance heavy attack. The only problem is that the Great Lance is not the best weapon. So just swap the moveset onto a Lothric Knight Ultra Great Sword. By the way, the attack wind-up is longer than the Dragon Roar effect. This glitch looks hard, but it's actually really easy. Do a full charged heavy attack and swap the weapon. Close the menu and do a mini step and trigger the full charged heavy attack again. Don't ignore your stamina bar for training this, and I recommend to do it with light attacks. Yorm. I love the Yorm fight. He's a really cool stagger mechanic with 1 stagger box on his right arm and 1 on his head. And this boss gives us the biggest damage number. But even with this 22k damage hit, it's not enough to get the one hit. And I will not do the fucking Great Bow glitch again. The dancer one-hit is beautiful, but it's not possible without the co-op glitch. We need to approach a room from behind to get a certain buff. So I've called my best friend and convinced him to buy the game to do this one glitch with me. But I made a mistake while recording and lost the footage. All this for that buff. It's the strongest buff in the game, and invaders and hosts can get it. But it lasts not very long, and you have to be relatively close to the boss. And to be honest, you don't need to do this. Great Lance attack is by far the strongest attack in the game, and you don't have to rely on the buff for the one hit. Pyromancy is boring. I hate magic, and so should you. Wow, with the Wyvern we are finally a boss that wants to be one-hitted. But I stopped the time for all boss fights and I don't want this to take longer than the demons fight. So I will do the alt speed thread. If you stand right here between these two grass patches slightly to the left, the boss will always do the same attack and you will be able to punish it with a jump on his head. Fun fact, Havel one-hit is harder than most bosses. As far as I know, there is no Nameless King one-hit on any version, and I tried my best to get rid of magic in all major boss fights. But I decided to go with Dhimitri strat for the first phase. It's really hard, but if your timing and spacing is correct, the result will always be the same. Now I'm switching rings and weapons to prepare for the Great Lance swap. I gave up on the Nameless King one-hit for several times, and without the blindfolded mask he will survive with 3 HP, and I learned that Pontiff's right eye ring will proc on the lance swap. The Gandia strat is really cool. After the parry, he will enter some kind of fancy counterattack state and every kind of damage source gets boosted. You could one-hit the Dragonslayer armor with the Pyromancy, and you wouldn't even need the second Morion Blade. But I decided to do it with the Great Lance. Finally, my favorite boss in the game, in my favorite area and the coolest one-hit.
Oh dear. Another dogged contender. Let it all fade into nothing. You may rest here too, if you like. If you like, if you like, if you like, if you like, if you like. If you like.
I tried days before I got this try, and this is by far the hardest strat I've used on this run. And it's close, but in this version you can't do the Lothric Knight Greatsword one-hit like that. But at this point I spent so much time on the strat that I've decided to learn the Pivot Swap. It's a stronger version of the bow glitch buff and fucking impossible. You have to buff and swap your weapon while turning around. This sounds easy, but trust me, it's not. And after a few hours I gave up and settled down on the Dragonslayer Great Axe strat. When I initially started this run, it was my only goal to bring Dhimitri's Greatsword strat to current patch. And I would really like to do it with the macro. But as fucked as my run already is, you could replace Honest Merchant with a friend and a quick save tool with some manual work. But if I start to buff up my weapons with a third-party program, I feel like I would have destroyed the last teensy little bit of legitness in this run. So for now, I have to go with the axe, and the Greatsword one it has to wait for a better player with faster menu skills and probably on keyboard and mouse. And yes, you have to use this elevator every single try. You have no idea how much time I spent riding this elevator. And even with the Dragonslayer Great Axe strat, I think this is the coolest one-hit in all Souls games. And now there's only one boss left.
To the true heir.
Soul of Cinder's first phase is far too strong, and I'm really happy that I can be his first one-hit experience. all boss fights in 7 minutes, 18 out of 19 bosses in one hit. Yes, maybe I will delete every comment about Gundyr, Deacons and Volnir, but I'm really happy that I did this run, and I did far better than I expected. If anyone has watched this video so far, thanks for your time. Goodbye.
ここで私ができることは終わりました。